Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition, to another installment of hashtag Fade to Black. Now, you're probably realizing why we are doing an abrupt show on a Tuesday. Um, it's on the breaking news of what's going on in Kenosha right now. So, for anybody who's been watching the show and knowing the cast members we have, Away, who is training for the Olympics right now. His cousin Jacob Blake was involved in the basically police brutality that happened last year, and just today, from Kenosha, from the DA himself, there will be no charges pressed against the officer that was the one that fired upon Jacob Blake, who is right now partially paralyzed. And I got my panelists here, Teach. I'm gonna try to
Good
keep my
evening.
composure. Yeah, I'm trying to keep my composure. So as you putting your motherly touch on this, Teach, what do you say about no charges being brought on this officer?
It's difficult to sit in this position time after time, decade after decade, century after century. This is not news. It seems as if we, the African, have been trained in passivity. We're waiting for the spirits to move, God to move, some force outside of ourselves to take action against the police brutality. It is daunting, to say the least, that here we go again, where white officers are cleared of any wrongdoing. And in this particular case, he felt that he was going to be stabbed, even though there was no evidence of any knife. And to back up his claim, they state that the video footage was just simply unclear and not really visible, and they really could not come to any kind of conclusion on the behalf of Jacob Blake. So they had to side on the side of the law. And it makes me think of how slavery was law. It did not make it right. But in the minds of evil men, they can create whatever they will and spin their web of deceit on the rest of the society to go along with it. When I went to the March on Washington in honor of George Floyd, with all the lineup of speakers, professional, well-known, local activists, so forth and so on, I felt very disappointed. And I believe I said it on the show that we're not ready, that we're not tired. We're frustrated, but we're not tired. So until we as a people truly get tired, there will be no change.
So
There,
go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Teach.
there's no appeal for morality. There is no such thing as an appeal for morality to a moralist people. We waste our time appealing to what's in us, thinking that it is in them. It is not. So, in that case, all men are not created equal.
So help definitely our people and people outside of us, if that makes sense. Explain the difference between being frustrated and being tired, because people like to put those things in being similar and meaning the same thing. And Beast just came in, ladies and gentlemen, but help everybody understand the two different meanings of both those words.
Well, frustrated is you're going about your day and things happen that throw your flow off. So you woke up happy, you were going to work or going to school, whatever you enjoying life, and something happens and it changes your mood and it changed the color of your day. But when you get tired of something, you don't have to verbalize that tiredness. That energy of the tiredness will spin you into action. And we at this point have not taken any effective action to stop police brutality. And it's going to come to a point that when we as a collective are truly tired, nobody has to say anything. Everybody instinctually would know what to do.
Beast Johnson just joined us. Um, what is your take on this? Because if I, like they say, if a face can say a million words right now, I can just see it right now. So, what's your take?
Um, we use this first. Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Mhm.
So now I have an excuse for anything that comes out of my mouth that y'all don't like. Y'all can blame it on alcohol. Um, Frustrated, tired are great words. Then the only closest clean civil words I could come up in my head right now, because everything I'm thinking is on some revolutionary tip. I said it before, and I will continue to say it. It's something about a good old fashioned it's truly passionate ass whooping that will humble a motherfucker. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how tough you are. When you realize that somebody else is willing to take it a step further, it causes you to reevaluate your decisions and your choices in life. Because you're always thinking in the back of your head, I had a moment like this, and it could easily happen again. And I'm beyond the point of tired or frustrated or annoyed or perturbed. I'm just through. I'm through with it all, which is the worst thing you can have because this is right before shit gets real. Because when folks say they through or they done, that means they have already evaluated and analyzed the negative ramifications of whatever action they may want to take or may feel is needed to be taken. Meaning, if I'm getting bullied and I said I'm done, that means I've already accepted the fact that I'm about to take this little mini baseball bat that I snuck in and I'm gonna crack this boy across the kneecap a couple times because I'm tired of them bullying me. Knowing good and well, I'm going to get suspended, most likely get expelled, and depending on my age, I might end up with a court case. But I'm done. I'm through. Meaning, whatever remnant of fuck that you thought was given in society has long since evaporated from my spirit. I am enraged as if he was my own blood. I ain't no kin to this man nor Seepway. But that's, as a black man, that's some shit we all go through. That's some shit we all got to deal with, and that's a fear we all have in our heads. And for America to just pretty much tell us, we want your money, we want your style, we want your je ne sais quoi, your swag, your sauce, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We want everything that society deems good from you. And if we can't get that, we will kill you and we will get off. I dare anybody at this point to fix their mouth to say that there's not a parent, bless you.
Yes.
See that? See, she already allergic to the bullshit I was about to talk about.
And she's
See, I ain't even get a chance to get it out my mouth. She already allergic to it. Because can't nobody fix their mouth at this point to be like, well, maybe the cop said, you shot a man half a dozen times in the back. Fuck how you think, man. And you gonna let him get off on it? So that's saying that any cop with any kind of issue could legally hop out their cruiser, start a 2-minute conversation with an individual, and shoot them point blank in the head and get away with it. Yet my black ass can't jaywalk across the street, or Lord forbid, be in a car with bad tags and not run the risk of catching a bullet in my fucking head. Where's the justice? Where's the equality? Where's all this other bullshit that y'all been out here protesting and demanding? Where is it? So when I say I'm done, I'm through, I'm telling everybody out here, we need to start doing what they're doing overseas and what the little sparse sleeper cells are doing here. That means when you see a situation like that, it's okay if one of y'all, maybe 3 of y'all are recording. But if it's more than 3 people out there, somebody else needs to be jumping in.
Mm-hmm.
If you know good and damn well that cop ain't got no business doing that shit, jump in it. Because I guarantee you, if it was on the other side, you'd be thinking the same shit, looking at everybody else on the sidelines. Now y'all not gonna jump in? Well, motherfucker,
Well,
you jump in.
That's what the premise for the Black Panthers got started, to read the rights of to the black men and women that were getting arrested, and to run police interference when it was escalating to a place it did not need to go. But we see that since the Black Panthers have been disseminated, no other group has risen to that cause. And even the INFACT, I haven't followed the story, but the last thing I heard, that the leader of INFACT has been arrested. So I don't know how strong he has built his organization that they can carry on without him, or will they scatter because of his arrest?
For publicity's sake, they're most likely scattered. Be honest with you. If it's in the news in any degree, they'll most likely separate themselves for a moment, at least publicly.
Yeah. My take on all this is I had a conversation with y'all before coming on the show, because I told you I was going to be running a little bit late and this was a scheduled show. When's enough? I mean, when is it going to? I always say on this show, and y'all can go back to the shows and go back to the Alabante show, and I said this, and I'm gonna say it again: protest does not work. It's
by itself. No, it does not.
I'm gonna tell you. Let me screw y'all on something. And I know we had an activist up on. We had a couple activists on this show, and I respect what they do. But I'm gonna say this. Nowadays, protest is more of throwing shit against the wall and hoping that it sticks, or at least leave a stain. Basically. And now people protest about everything nowadays is expected. Even the news was reporting yesterday before this freaking decision came today. They was doing the same thing like it was doing in Louisville when it came to Breonna Taylor, when they acquitted all those police officers besides one. They boarded everything. They boarded all the windows. They put up all the barricades. They did the same exact thing in Kenosha. And it's a damn shame that we are praising people who sit there, record, and be. You brought up a big point that I've also been trying to hammer home to this show too as well. If you are the one with the camera, with the phone, which I got right here, right now, that's recording. That's great. That's great. But when it's more than, I'll say like this, if it's more than one person with a damn camera phone recording that shit, definitely if it's a black woman, and you seeing that mess happen, you seeing the cops sitting there bashing them in the damn face, and you sit there, you do nothing, guess what? You are part of the damn problem. I'm gonna try to hold my
whoop
word.
your ass just as well.
Right. You are part of the problem.
I'll do the cussing for everybody. I look like the vulgar mouth, so I'll do the cussing for everybody tonight.
So you are the one that is the problem too as well. But what happened in Kenosha was just a disgrace. And watch, everybody and their mama is going to be out there protesting and expecting something to happen when you know nothing ain't going to happen. This is what I say what should happen. Go out there like the rest of those anti-maskers out there. Do like them.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what they're doing. They going out there without no mask. And not only just that, they going out there with guns. Mm-hmm. We so damn afraid to show might and muscle. All due respect, I think it was Jacob Blake's mom who came out there and said, I'm leaving in God's hands. I forgive the cops. I'm sorry. Fuck forgiveness.
Well, no. I'll tell you that. This is how I will say that. To not be sacrilegious or blasphemous, because she is right. But she also, most likely has forgotten, like most people, God didn't breed everybody to be like Jesus. He didn't breed everybody to be peaceful. Some of us he bred to be like Gideon, to go out here and get it. Some of us he bred to be like Noah, to take a stand. Some of us he bred to be like David or Solomon. But not everybody was bred to be good or handle these type of situations in that manner. And sometimes Jesus is not the one we need to be calling on for situations like this. Because Jesus preached love and forgiveness. I'm not going to forgive you for no shit like this.
We are all gods. We are all gods and goddesses.
Yes.
Not but gods and goddesses here. We control our own destinies, ladies and gentlemen. When you do a prayer, and I'm going to paraphrase Reverend Ike back in the day, when he said, you're not making a prayer to a guy up above, you're doing a prayer within yourself, the God within you. And it goes back to a little bit what teachers say. When you find that God in you, that voice in the back of your head, that powerful voice, that little tiny little voice that you keep ignoring, that's when people going to start taking notice of you and start to fear you, because you start listening to that voice within you, inside you, hearing that little voice to tell you, hey, look, don't do this, do this. I'm sick and tired. I want to start 2021 with more police brutalities and then seeing a lot more protests going on and all that stuff. We're not even, and I know a lot of y'all gonna sit there going to say, because remember last show we was talking about Biden Harris, or what Biden Harris gonna do now with all this going on. Who cares? Because
what you gonna do?
Right. We all we got. We is all we got. Nobody else is going to come into our lives and make it better. We got to make it better. It's just like freaking cooking a freaking cake. If I'm cooking a dang cake, and I know Cheech got the experience and all that stuff, but guess what? If I don't ask Cheech for advice, guess what? I'm not going to get advice. If I know I'm not going to get no advice from her, guess what? I'm all I got. I got to work with the tools, materials, the ingredients that I have in front of me. Everybody, every young millennial out there, or even old cats out there that's with these young cats protesting. I hate to bust your bubble. Nothing's going to happen. Those police officers the next day is going to walk in with a big smile on their face. They're going to switch shifts. They're going to put on their freaking gear. They're going to put on that little camera that's supposed to protect everybody, supposed to record everything. They're going to get in their cop cars, and they're going to be around your block around 7 o'clock in the damn morning.
Let me help you out there with it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Give you a little analogy. Let's get southern with it. If you're not willing to let the bully know that you're willing to fight back, how you expect the bully to stop? And I use, for example, I was in 6th grade and I wasn't as boisterous, a lot more insecure, a lot more inside my head and about situations, and ran across 2 individuals that thought they was going to jump me, and I kept running, and just something in me said, stop. And I stopped, and I turned around, and I knuckled up. I got in my stance, and they was caught off, like, oh, you going to fight? Let's go. I'm not running no more. I'm fucking tired of running. Right. You may whip my ass, but you going to respect me at the end of the day. And see, this situation ain't gonna happen no more.
Right, and I'm gonna go on this point, and then we're gonna go hear the response from the family of Jacob Blake. I saw this video that I seen on Instagram where you saw all these black men dressed to the T walking on I think it was Capitol Hill in Washington D.C. and they walk in, and then as they come together at the steps and they put up the power fist, and I say that's powerful. But here's the thing, really, this Batman, and would be nice if y'all would be doing that in y'all community. Have a gun and march it for what is yours,
and not even having a gun, but having the skills and tools to properly defend yourself and defend your neighborhood. As if like the little kids and teenagers that do live in the neighborhood that live around me, they know how I am. I'm a laid back adult, but you ain't gonna say but so much around me. Right. And I don't care nothing about your mama or daddy. If you try me like an adult, I'll put my hands on you like an adult and will explain why I put my hands on you like an adult to the adult that is your parent.
Right. So let's stop making
and they know this.
Right. So stop making these powerful social media videos and Facebook videos, this black men and all that stuff, when they're not even doing anything about police brutality, when they see their brothers, see their sisters, their baby, their aunties, their freaking sister, maybe their son, their daughter getting killed on the streets. Don't show me those pictures no more. You know what? I'm saying it on the show right now. I'm not liking those foes no more. I don't see no empowerment in that anymore. No more. Because it's time for us to put our foot down and start being like, look here. It's time for us to protect our streets. It's time for us to protect our freaking communities. It's time for us to what's that saying from off of New Jack City? Be my brother's and I my brother's keepers. It's time for us to start being our brother's keepers. I don't care if you're in a black love relationship, an interracial relationship. I don't care if you're not in a relationship at all or whatever. It's time for us to start having each other's damn backs. Let's stop sitting there. Oh, black, I'm proud. Look at black fathers right here. Like 1,000 likes. No, hell no. What you should be doing is, yes, be a great father, be a great mother, but you should be telling them these streets out here ain't kind. They're not kind. I'm not going to sit there and teach you to turn the other cheek neither. I'm going to train you to be skilled in fighting, Not only just education, y'all need to get off that train too, because education is not going to solve everything.
I'm gonna train my children the way my father trained me, to not only be as skilled with my mind, but be as skillful with my hands in all endeavors.
Right, because education through the years of African Americans, prominent African Americans, they learned that firsthand. Even with money, they will still show you who you are,
or who they think you are,
or who they think you are. So
I want to speak.
Yeah, go ahead, teach, and then I'm gonna go to the video.
Please.
I kind of went on
because there's a lot of testosterone
the
right
issue
now.
Of forgiveness. It seems to be a recipe. Cop kill black person. Before anything happens, the family forgives the officers. Then they do a discovery, do a trial, and then at the end, the officers are let off. But let's look at the energy of forgiveness. What does forgiveness mean? Forgiveness means that you take away the responsibility or the debt of the debt holder, meaning that they're no longer responsible. So when a family acts in the act of forgiveness, the officers are going to get off because that's the energy they put off to let them off. When you hold a person responsible, they have to stand trial, and the energy would be for them to get a sentence that's equal to the crime that they committed. But if you say, I forgive you, that means you take away the responsibility of them standing up for the crime. We have to understand what forgiveness is. When they say forgiveness loans, what does it mean? That means you don't have to pay it back.
Yep.
So when we forgive these criminals, it means that they don't have to pay it back. So I don't know what the family's response is, but the family response should be, okay, that's what I pray for. I pray for forgiveness. I pray to let them off. That's what forgiveness means. And until we get it into our psyches to change this narrative, they're going to always get them off, because that's where the family's energy went to get the cops off. You have to understand it on a higher spiritual level, not just words spoken, but the power of the words behind that. When you forgive the killer, he goes scot-free. That's what forgiveness means. We have to understand that. And if you don't understand that, we're going to always have this narrative. And like you said, they were preparing for, the locking up things, boarding up things. But the people should just go to sleep tonight, because forgiveness was granted before the discovery took place. They were forgiven before it even started.
From the mom. And
from the litigious point. Oh, go ahead, teach.
So this is the end result of your thoughts. Your thoughts and your words have power. When you forgive them, they go scot-free. It should be no shock to anybody.
Nope.
Because that is the recipe that you created. You said, I don't hold them accountable for my son's injuries. I don't hold them accountable for my son's death. I don't hold them accountable. That's what you're saying when you say, I forgive them. So don't be mystified. Don't say, oh, they let them off again. You let them off. You
from a
let them
point.
off. Because I'd be damned if one of mine is taken in this way and they put the microphone in my mouth and ask me to forgive them. My answer is hell
no.
No.
Well, I put the F word.
Or like Oprah Winfrey said, hell no.
Yep.
I'm gonna hit you like Sam Jackson.
I would not allow you to walk away from your crime. You must stand and be accountable and be charged with the crime that you committed. If you want forgiveness, go to the injured, Go to the dead and ask them to forgive you because that's their life that you took. You didn't take mine. So I cannot forgive what you did not do to me. I will
Preach.
not let you go scot-free just because your conscience wants to be eased, because you want a pension, because you have children that you want to raise, because you have
In
goals and
spite of the fact
dreams
that
and
you took somebody's parent from them.
aspirations. I will not
There you go.
keep
And now we're going to
your
hear the
guilt.
response. Yeah, we're going to see the response from the family. And also, this brother right here who's about to talk, he was actually on the show last year talking about Jacob Blake. So here's the response from the family.
Before you start that, I want to elaborate more on what teacher's saying. That's from the spiritual. Now, when you want to speak about real world, litigiously speaking, lawyers who will use any word against you in a court of law, when you are verbalized publicly to forgive, you have automatically given them their defense. No matter how heinous the crime is, if the victim's family can show remorse and forgiveness, individuals who were immediately, directly, and significantly affected by this action, if they can show forgiveness, who are we as the public? Who are we as their peers to truly judge them and find fault in them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's how they get off scot-free.
Every time.
Ain't that something?
So for you folks out there talking about she just being churchy with it. No. From a legal standpoint, this is exactly what they doing.
Yep. And with that, let's go ahead and get the response to the family. Let me go ahead and turn it up just a little bit.
Have suppressed us with for the last several hundred years. We, young families, are asking this city, this county, this state, and this nation to rise up in a nonviolent civic uprising and let our friends and family know there's a new sheriff in town. And he's wearing the colors of red, black, and green through the honorable march of God, uniting our people around the world. And he's going to demand for not only little Jake, but all everybody that looks like little Jake across this nation and across the world. Already mentioned the Honorable Marcus Garvey. We've been through slavery, Jim Crow. We've got greats like Johnny Cochran, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, W.E. Du Bois, Nat Turner, Maya Angelou, just to say a few. But I'm here to tell you, we haven't been able to breathe, and we still found greatness. We're allowed some of us to succeed. But today we got to face the fact that there's a large segment of African descendants that are on the poverty line because of racism. And we want to examine every aspect of it today before we let you go. George Floyd, the Stinnett families, Breonna Taylor. There are immature moments. That point where you stop in life and ask, where were you when this happened? Where were you when the verdict went down? Because this is going to impact this city, this state, and the nation for many years to come. Unless the people rise up and do what they're supposed to do. This is a government for the people, by the people, correct? And we talk about this Constitution everybody's supposed to be so committed to, yet we stand in a state that has the most convictions of African Americans in the United States. So they weigh in heavy on one side on justice, but they allow a police officer to rain down terror on our communities. It's unjust. We went through 2020, we learned a lot. It's 2021, and we're not going for it. We're going to unite our people from coast to coast until we get justice. We're not backing down. The reason we wear Carhartts today is to let our people know we got work to do. It's not time to be cute. It's time to put on some working boots and get in this game. We need each and every African descendant to get up and rise up, March Americans, etc. And those that believe that Black Lives Matter. Stand up around this nation. And let's let them know we're not going to tolerate this anymore. I need a lot of noise. I need you to get in people's face. Martin Luther King went to jail. John Lewis went to jail for us. Don't be scared to go to jail. We're asking to be aggressive. We built this nation, yet we don't reap the benefits of the liberties that this nation has to offer. It's outrageous, it's unconscionable, and it ends in 2021. Nothing is more important than empathy for others. And others suffering, I'm sorry. Not career, not wealth, not intelligence, and not status. We have to feel for others and what they're going through. So as we suffer through this battle that we're going through, when we get to the other side, we'll still have our dignity.
I'm gonna go ahead and just ended it right there. He made that conference earlier. What do y'all take from that, starting with Beast?
Mixed messages. Like, I'm annoyed at what he's saying. I'm annoyed at how he displayed it, because from the jump you said nonviolent, and as soon as you said nonviolent, all that aggressive bravado and energy kind of went out the door for me, because it's like what you are preaching after that point is a point of aggression. It's not malicious aggression. It's just natural situational aggression. If it calls for it, if that's what's needed, then yes. If that's what the situation is forcing the person upon, then yes, that's what we will do. But you cannot preach the rhetoric of getting people's faces and get loud and proud with it, as well as be nonviolent. It doesn't mix. It's like oil and vinegar. Oil and water, however you say it just don't mix. And that causes confusion and continual confusion amongst the community. Because individuals like me, we hear that, but those that don't have a trained ear, they will just hear that passion and that rhetoric and not really listen to his words. And I agree with everything he says. Do not get me wrong and feel like I'm going against what he's saying. No, everything he's saying is right. It needs to stop. We need to move forward in a more aggressive manner. We're not calling for violence. This is not a call to arms, but we are telling everybody, like the Mexicans know, get your boots on, because it is coming. Ain't no point in trying to peacefully go about this anymore or try to show reason, because they're refusing to show reason. They're refusing to acknowledge logic. So you have to force that upon them. And anytime you're forcing something, you are applying a level of aggression in order to force whatever that entity or move or power it is. So you can't call for a nonviolent stance with aggressive rhetoric. Is it no? It don't hit the ear right, and it's not going to translate correctly in the brain of everyone.
Right.
Because people are hearing three different messages at this point. So, the teach.
Well, his message was emotionally charged.
Yeah, agreed.
It was directed in several different directions, which makes it totally contradictory. He was prepping and priming the public to protect property versus riot and tear down the property. So he's taken on the issue of how blacks are perceived versus the rage and anger that they should have and should lawfully allow it to flow. So his message for me, it was just air, just hot air. A whole bunch of words that added up to nothing. He talked about Marcus Garvey and organizing people all around the world.
That just really annoyed me right there.
Yeah,
because Marcus was about that life.
To what? Organizing them to what? Hold hands and sing Kumbaya?
Because Marcus didn't say that. Marcus said, let's rally up and go back to Africa and show these motherfuckers how powerful we really are. If we take away the essential cog of America, America won't run.
Mm-hmm. So for me, it was just emotionally charged. That is his relative. He's on the front lines with it. He's feeling the emotions of his friends and family and the world that's listening. But as far as putting together a real strategic plan, because they knew that the decision was going to be given today. What had they been doing since August the 23rd? In terms of organizing. Organizing for what? Organizing to do what? Who's on board? If anything, he should have been saying, since this event, we have met with leaders around the world, grassroots activists around the world, and we have come up with this plan. And this is what we're going to do. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. So again, what we just witnessed was a knee-jerk reaction. It was not planned. He had from August till now to organize and come up with a real strategic plan or support some of the plans that's out there, like defunding the police, retraining the police, making sure that if a police officer is hired, he has to be thoroughly trained. He has to go through psychological evaluations. These are demands that can be put in place. That's what they did with the Breonna Taylor case. They did in her settlement. They did put legislature in there to change how the police officers interact with the people. So for me, he just spoke hot air. He was emotional and it's just nothing. Nothing. I can't take anything away from what he said. How can I say this? It's the same old thing. That's the same thing we heard when we were in Washington, D.C.
All around the world's the same song.
This is the same thing. And I was sad. And I told you, I get to a point, I'm like, ooh, this is not what I came here for. I was expecting to say, okay, we got point. I mean, like the Black Panthers, they had a 10-point program. Point number 1, we want better housing. Point number 2, we don't want our communities occupied by the police. Give me a 2-point plan. I'll be happy with a 2-point plan. But
well, in
just
all
to
honesty,
say,
with that teach, go ahead, finish.
Yeah, I mean that was it. You know, give me a 2-point plan. Let me know that you're really thinking instead of just reacting.
Yeah, it's true, but the honest truth of it is he wasn't speaking as a representative of a bigger problem. Like most of them, because at this point, you feel like, Lord forbid, but shit happens. It's going to happen. At this point, you should feel like we as a people, and just in general, we should be a little bit more honest with ourselves, individual. And
true.
No matter who,
but look at who his
put
cousin
before
is.
that.
Look who his cousin is, Seepaway. If they would have consulted with Seepaway, I'm quite sure Seepaway could have given them a 25-point plan.
Yes.
Oh, most definitely. At least 17.
Okay, if they would have been in contact with him, Sleepaway could have given them a plan.
Right, but that
All
goes to
this
the point I was
time.
making. That goes to the
Yeah.
point as family. Most of these people, when they come, they don't come to the cause until later on once they realize this shit is bigger than them. But at the moment of the event to the inevitable bullshit, they're always perceived internally and externally as the family. So anything that comes out their mouth is taken in that manner. And the family's concern above all things, are they alive? Are they functional? If so, if not, if so, how functional?
I'm gonna go ahead.
As long as this individual can survive and still make it on their own, and still get some money, like he can still walk. He's not completely crippled, and he's not dead. And he still has his mental faculties about him. So as far as his personal survival, he still has the God-given skills to attain that and maintain that upon his own will. And that's what the family is always concerned about at the end of the day. So long as that turns in their familial favor, everything else is just like, okay, you got to say something, make it sound good, make it sound passionate. Try to speak from your heart, but not too much. Because, a person like me, Lord forbid that happened to somebody in my family, I think God would make sure it did not happen, because putting me in an emotional state over that, we are definitely rioting.
Yeah,
I'm calling for riots. I'm calling for ass whoopings of all cops. Like I got friends in the cops. I'm gonna tell them, yo, don't go to work. Take some PTO, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
so
I love you, and that's why I'm telling you this.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna step in and say this. So for context, because that seems to be the thing nowadays when people hear what we're talking about. We're not talking about him per se. We're not talking about him or his character. So for anybody go run and tell that, let me go in here and clear that air out. We're just
we are
saying
speaking on who he represents in a long line of black bullshit.
Right.
You ain't naming nothing else.
Right. And what he's saying. Because I can still like you, but I can't agree with what you're saying. I can't always agree with the things that you say. So that's all what we're saying in that. So that's for context. So I just want to throw that out there, out the way, just in case anybody like, oh my gosh, at least he's saying
get
something.
on record. Now get the timestamp on record. That's what we're doing. Where they said in 12 minutes and 42 seconds, this, but if you go 3 minutes and 48 seconds further up,
after we explain context. So what I get from this is basically y'all said the things that I wanted to say and what I had on my chest to say. It's just sad where we want to take it there, but it's just like, you want to go all the way. It's like going on a roller coaster. It's like, you're motivated. You want to get on there, but then when you get there, it's just like, no. It's like it's nice to see see it.
I gotta pull a Mr. O at Seaboy on this one. That's when we're listen. What we are needing is a call for educated tacticians, people with chess-minded mentalities. I love you, brothers. That's why I'm talking this shit right now, because I want you back.
Yes.
But aside from that.
But what about Jacob? Has Jacob himself made any statements?
He has not made any statements yet.
And I honestly feel like he's probably wanted to make some statements, but he probably thinking a little closer to where I'm at than anybody else. And
glad to be
you don't
alive.
want to hear that on camera.
And for me, for me, hearing that press conference, it's like he wanted to go there, but he's like, nah, I don't want to go there. But see, this is also I praised it
Because nobody wants the
yesterday.
name of like nobody wants to
Right,
be that person.
right. And so I praised it the last show, and now I'm gonna say why I'm against it. It's behind closed doors, in front of
There you
everybody.
go.
I don't want to take it there, but if it gets there, we're going to take it there, but it's going to be peaceful. But then behind
I
closed
don't
doors,
want to. I don't want
man,
to be the one that says food fight. I want the
right?
food fight. I want to throw this pie. It tastes
But
terrible, and that nigga over there been looking at me stupid. But I don't want to be the one to say food fight,
right,
even though everybody got the same thought.
but then you go when all the cameras are off, everybody's gone home, whatever, and you behind closed doors, you like God. I really want to just say fuck the police and do all this stuff. We know what he really wanted to say. We know where his
Mm-hmm.
heart and on his chest what he really wanted to say. But this is the trap that we always find ourselves in. And I know y'all
Fear.
gonna, yeah, and I know y'all gonna hate me relating it to white folks. When if Jacob Blake was white, yes, ladies and gentlemen, and it's funny, the show,
We gonna play that card. We
yeah,
gonna play that Uno card every time.
because tomorrow the show is based on Law and Order, which I did say on the show yesterday on what it was going to be. So don't think that show was a topic that just came on top of my head because this. But going back to my point, if Jacob Blake was white, they would be tearing that city down. They will be burning it down.
No, they wouldn't.
And then
No, they
their
wouldn't.
family members. And then
You know why they wouldn't be burning it down? Because shit would have got taken care of quick, fast, in a hurry, efficiently.
and that too. But I just want to get on to the point of like the rioting because every time there's rioting, it always gotta be based upon us and us not acting right and us acting like the monkeys like we always are. But
Bitch, we ain't the ones born with tails. That's y'all
but
genetic disease. That ain't on us. That melanin,
so
baby.
so going on to my point is that they will be tearing the place down, and they will have the law on their knees, sitting there saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. What happened to your son Jacob
It'd
Blake?
be
What
it'd
do
be
y'all need us
AKs
to
and
do?"
30 yards for miles and miles.
And they won't even have to sue the freaking city. The city will give the money. How much you want? How much? Let me go ahead and write a check. How many zeros is that? Is there enough zeros? Because that is what would have happened.
But
That
this
would
all behind
exactly happen.
closed doors. So the media would just say the individual was fired. Really, they got a paid leave, shipped off to another state or another county.
Mhm.
So as far as that local area is concerned, it was handled. It's cool. They like everything that Donnell just said. Oh, it most assuredly would happen. Most of it would happen behind closed doors, as well as how they discuss how to paint this to society, and also how to word it so not to annoy the monkeys.
Right. So I'm a go ahead and take it to this far too. I'm going to take it this far, and y'all probably gonna look at me crazy, but honestly, I do not care. I think it needs to come out. Black conscious community, where y'all at? Where y'all at? I know all y'all like to put up the Umar Johnsons. Where he at? Tariq Nasheed. I respect Tariq Nasheed, but I gotta put you in that category, bro. Where you at? And you know who else I'm gonna put up in here? Y'all really gonna get mad at me, but I'm gonna say it. Mr. Farrakhan, where you at? Where you at, Mr. Farrakhan? Where you
I
at?
ain't gonna lie. Now that you
Where
say his name, I
where
have
you
not
at?
heard him
Nothing.
speak on anything
Nothing.
along this
Nothing.
line. Like the
Nothing.
most recent thing I've heard him speak on is the whole black dynamic, as far as he's speaking on the over-sexualization of black women and the toxic mentality that is posed upon them. Like
Where
understanding that it's not about that whole, but he ain't talking about this, and I can agree on
he
that completely.
he Not even talking about it. Where
He ain't
is
spoke
he?
on nothing.
Where
That's what
you
I'm
at,
saying.
Mr. Farrakhan? It's
I ain't
great
seen no
when
Muslims pop up.
no, because they're gonna sit there in Chicago. He gonna get behind his pedestal. He gonna be on YouTube, gonna be on Facebook,
Excuse me.
and he gonna give one of those great, powerful speeches like preaching. And you realize the audience that you have is the same damn audience like always. He's a member of the NOI. And I'm not just gonna bash him because honestly, to tell you the truth, people go at freaking Al Sharpton sitting there saying he's a scam artist. He say this, say that. I don't see no
I'll take
different
it a
from
step
him.
further.
Yeah.
I'll take it a step further. Where the black church at?
Where y'all at?
Where you at, Kurt? Where you at, Fred?
Oh, how about this?
Is
Black,
Eddie still alive? TD, where you at, pimpin'?
yeah, where
Creflo,
y'all at?
you know there's some money in this. Creflo,
Yeah.
what's good?
They,
Why you ain't speaking on
they
it?
are in place. They have perfected the art of teaching their people to be passive. They have given their
Mm-hmm.
message, and you see it play out in the way people carry themselves, the way he gave that speech. That's where they're at. They're where they were supposed to be in the beginning of training the people to accept abuse as a way of life.
Right, and I guarantee you,
Well,
people who
God,
gonna be
God ain't
watching
So
made
the
me
you
that
playback
can't
way.
of
God
expect
bless.
this,
anything
My God.
contrary to that.
right?
You can't
But
expect anything contrary.
I'm
That ain't
gonna
never
say
made no
this
sense to
though.
me.
But I'm gonna say this because I know the people that I just said got a lot of followers, and they probably gonna watch this, gonna share it to them, and they probably gonna come at me.
Please
Go
do.
ahead, come at me, please. I want you to because I'm still gonna say just because you make documentaries, just because you sit there go on the 4th of July, you have your speech and make everybody get a warm and fuzzy. If all the issues that we are having and one is not solved, it's still a problem. And you haven't done anything. Everybody
You
wants to
individuals
respect,
are verbal magicians.
right?
You put on
Everybody
a
wants,
show, you amaze, but at the end of the day, what are you really doing?
right? Everybody sit there, y'all. I'm not gonna say y'all praise these guys, but y'all damn well close enough to it. And the
Y'all
person that I put right
invest.
there on top,
That's
yeah,
what we'll say.
the
Y'all
top
invest in it.
person, the top person that I put up there is Mr. Farrakhan. And I tell you, what has he done? Have his people, the people that guard him, his soldiers, have they been boots on ground, going to these communities and going to the police and sit there saying, enough is enough. Like that Black Panther party in Wisconsin when that one Asian store who kicked out the kids because they thought they were stealing, and they went up in there and they say, you know what? The next time you come at our kids, we're gonna shut this damn place down. That's action. And also
Exactly.
the Black Panther Party in Houston, still kicking down there, who went out there because they said that the this white supremacist group, I think it's like the 1%ers or whatever the hell they want to be called, was going down to one of the I think it was one of the what's the places where the Muslims meet? What they call that place?
The mosque or Mecca?
The mosque, yes,
Mosque.
mosque. And they was threatening to come down there. So when the Black Panther heard about that, because majority of them were black, they stood out there with their guns. That militia came back when that militia came and saw the Black Panther standing outside waiting. They turned their happy asses around. That's action, including the not no give what's that coalition called? No fucks.
In fact, no fucks
Yeah,
allowed.
no fuck. Yeah, that coalition when they went down there on the freaking KKK's backyard and was calling them out. When they went to freaking Louisville, even though I believe they should have done more, when they went to Louisville and they stood face to face against the police, even went up in there to that freaking AG and told him what was going to happen if all that stuff messed up. And that's why he got put in prison because they was expecting to go back. That's action. I have not seen Minister Farrakhan or anybody that sit there and jump to this man's defense. Yes, I'm talking to you, Boyce Watkins, because you praise this man's feet, you kiss his toes every chance you get. When has he ever boots on ground, go down to the family of Jacob Blake, to Breonna Taylor, to anybody who is black, just like you, go to their families, give your condolences, and actually said, because I remember in the speech, he said, we're going to burn it to the ground. I'm still waiting on that. And let me go ahead and take some of that burden off him, because I come at Mr. Farrakhan hard because us black folks put him up there, but we criticize Al Sharpton when they're both mirror image of each other. One just hustled and snitched his way to the top. The other one just talked big talk and do nothing.
I mean, well, look, we know for sure Sharpton the snitch. Like, we confirmed that now. We confirmed that, like, declassified information decades later.
But I'm going to add this point. One thing that Al Sharpton do have over Mr. Farrakhan. Al Sharpton will go there. He went there for where he went to. He went to
he will proclaim it there. He himself won't go there, but he know a strong portion of his calling or his congregation, so to speak, is willing to go there. So right. If I know at least 2% of my congregation will put in $500, if I say it, I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
But he actually goes to those areas and goes to those places. Name a place. Did Mr. Farrakhan went to Breonna Taylor? Did he went to Louisville? Nothing. And just because the media don't say anything about it, doesn't help your case neither. Because it didn't change anything.
We're not saying. Now let me elaborate like Donnell did earlier. When we say this, we're not saying that he's not doing this. He could be doing this behind closed doors. What we're actually saying is that Mr. Farrakhan, as the leader and representative and spokesperson for the Nation of Islam, he and his organization have not shown any actual public involvement nor contributions toward any of the situations and tragedies that have happened recently. That's what we're saying. We don't know whether they did it behind closed doors or not, but we do know publicly there has not been any kind of presence from him or his coalition or any comments.
Go ahead, teach.
I guess, how can I say this? I see this is a time where all hands should be on deck. And what we're seeing is not all hands are on deck. And the fact of the matter is, all hands are not going to be on deck.
Nope.
And instead of trying to gather the masses, gather the few. And as the snowball goes down the hill, the masses will come. I mean, we look in the case of Nat Turner. He had the vision himself to rise up. But as he went from farm to farm, his army grew. So you can't expect them to be there on the front end. And like I said in the opening, as a collective, we're frustrated. We are not tired. Because when tired truly kicks in, action is going to come. And nobody is going to have to say, hey, man, come on along. Everybody is going to be ready. They're going to drop down what they're doing and swing into action. I'm telling you.
We're going to be like the Mexicans. We're going to do what the Mexicans do.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to go in here and I think that's perfect to end the show like that. But ladies and gentlemen, we just want to give our thoughts and give you the news on what happened in Kenosha because it's disgraceful. It's
It is
something that
appalling.
it's something that we expected, but this is, as they call it, this is our come to Jesus moment. And once again, I call out those
Or walk
so-called
away from Jesus moment.
walk away from
No,
Jesus
no,
moment
no,
too.
no. You know what? No. If we gonna use Jesus, this is Jesus at the church. The one time Jesus had to show his ass was when he walked in the church and they was in there slanging money. Pretty much what we see now in churches, if Jesus would have physically walked into a church now, he'd have did what he did back then. He'd have kicked everybody out and he'd have been whipping all the preachers while you sitting here charging these people for this blessing. This is not my word. This is not what I preach. Jesus actually went there. It's verified at least one time in the Bible, but we know Jesus would go there.
When we have that collective moment, it's going to be a return to us moment.
Mm-hmm. No.
It's going to be a return to us, get us together moment.
Yeah.
It's going to be a return of the Mac moment. We just all going to hear that beat in our head. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. When I'm tired of your shit, he about to call a quiz. We done all got in line, and it's time to pay the fine. Return of the blacks, return of the blacks.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be on his upcoming
happen.
album. Yep, that's going to be an upcoming album right there.
Hey, if it happens, I'm giving him producer credits, executive producer credits, because he came up with the idea. But now that I'm thinking about it in the back of my head, I'm like, that might just work. I think I might be doing something after this show. Thank you very much, sir.
Got you. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and head on out. We're going to still be doing the show tomorrow, our regularly scheduled program, as we would say, where we're going to be talking about law and order and race. Tune in, as I would say back in the day, same back time, same back channel. Tune in. As for Beast Johnson, for
Definitely got some things to say tomorrow.
Teach. Thank y'all for tuning in for this hashtag Fade to Black special. Thank y'all so very, very much. We are outro, and please, ladies and gentlemen, be safe out there. Please be safe. Hug your loved ones. Tell them how much you love them, and most of all, just be safe. Y'all have a good one. Thank you, panel. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.